2025, let's talk about it. Let's do a little review of the year, and we're going into 2026. As a matter of fact, we are there right now. This is the morning after. It's actually 4:06 a.m. January 1st. So the big losses this year were Ace and Ozzy. That was, to me, that was the big news of the year. So let's talk about Kiss, Ozzy Osbourne, Ace Frehley, Black Sabbath, maybe a little bit of Van Halen, and Cheap Trick, even a little bit of that. Kiss and Black Sabbath, Ozzy are my focus, and so is Ace Frehley and all the happenings with these bands this year. Let's talk about that. So the big losses this year were Ace and Ozzy. That was, to me, that was the big news of the year. Ozzy was just huge, man. That's felt massive and worldwide. That felt so big. I know some people thought it was like, you know, like when Elvis Presley died, or it was so big. And Ace, I know that's, you know, some people it was more significant that Ace died. That was more significant in their own lives. Both of them to me were so important. The Ozzy outpouring of love was beautiful, and that was such an important thing to me. And so beautiful to see Ace, you know, it was a different circumstance. We were not, I don't know if he was as much in the limelight as Ozzy. No, he wasn't. But, you know, they had both declined a lot. A very lot. Actually, they were far from their best, which you would expect at Ace being 74 years old and Ozzy being 76 years old. So they're not going to be like they were when they were 30 or 25, you know. Very declined, but love what they gave us, yeah. So that was the big news of the year for me. That was a real shit. That made this year like really significant. Like when I lost Eddie Van Halen, because I'm a huge Eddie Van Halen fan. That's another guy. These are all the very most important people in my musical journey. Eddie was enormous too, and that was a brutal loss in 2020, October, I think 6th or something like that. That was a big loss. Another guy I just loved, like if we're talking about a genius, Eddie Van Halen, take any rock star. I'm going to call Eddie Van Halen. There's no one more innovative. There's no bigger genius in rock music than Eddie Van Halen. I can't think of anyone. So that was a huge loss back then. And we lost Neil Peart from Rush that year, earlier in that year. I think it was January or February of 2020. So those were big losses too. And geez, Neil Peart, the professor on drums of Rush, like that guy was, damn man, that guy's what a superstar on the drum kit that guy was. Professor, man, yeah. Understatement. That guy was great too. But Eddie, yeah, totally my guy there. So yeah, these losses are friggin' huge, and they're gonna keep coming. You know, David Bowie in 2015, was it 2015, late 2015? Was it December? I'm not sure. 2015 that we lost him. And Lemmy Kilminster, that was another big from Motorhead. big loss there. Ronnie James Dio back in with it. Was it 2012? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was it, but around that time. Terrible losses, man. And we're just going to keep incurring these losses. And, you know, what can you do? We're gonna lose our own family members. We have, all of us, probably most of us listening. You don't get very far in life without losing someone. If you get to, if you get to 30 years old and you haven't lost anyone important in your life, like that, you know, a family member or something, you're pretty damn lucky. Yeah, so it always comes, it's like PTSD. If you lost a family member or someone when you're really young, it comes back to affect you when you lose, when other people die. It just affects you, even if they're not close to you. Even if you see something on the news, it feels like, for me, there's a certain sense of PTSD. What's that? Post-traumatic post-traumatic distress disorder? No, PTS, post-traumatic what? Stress disorder? What the? Okay, man, I gotta lay off this because I know what that is all about. But I'm trying to get this done in a timely fashion too, so that the camera, there's a bit of pressure. I'm under pressure, right? And I'm actually quite, I'm a bit inebriated right now. So, anyway, these losses, yeah, are terrible, but we're going to move on from the losses. That, to me, is the most significant part of 2025. Ace Frehley and Ozzy Osbourne. Those losses are really important, really significant. And so now we're going to move on. I'm going to do a little segue into the direction of Cheap Trick, just briefly, because Cheap Trick was a band that I really liked back in the late 70s, 77 to maybe 1980. And, you know, with Heaven Tonight, the album Heaven Tonight, and Dream Police, and In Color. Those albums I really love. And Cheap Trick were quite a big band for me. Kiss was the main band at that time for me. Like, I like Kiss. I like some Ted Nugent, a little bit of Ted Nugent. I liked his attitude, just the wildness. I know a lot of people don't like him for his politics, and I could see your point, or, you know, whatever. Whatever point of view you got, I don't give a shit about that. I'm neither here nor there with this political stuff. I know some people, Ted's a bit nutty, for sure. But he did some good stuff. Not my favorite, but I liked them. I liked some Queen. I liked some Aerosmith. Goddamn, Aerosmith Rocks was a brilliant album. I liked Supertramp. And I liked a bit of Kansas. The later I got really into Kansas. I loved Kansas. I liked a bit of Led Zeppelin. Later I got really into Led Zeppelin. You know, so it's Black Sabbath. I knew a little bit, just not very much back in the late 70s. I knew Electric Funeral. That was one. I'm not sure what else I knew. I liked Deep Purple. I liked Space Truckin' and all that. Anyway, let's move on. Cheap Trick. They were kind of like, Kiss was up there. They're my top band. But I liked Cheap Trick, and I liked Aerosmith too. Those two bands. But Cheap Trick had that something. They had this poppiness. They're rock, but they're poppy. They're melodic. I guess that's the word. When I say poppy, I mean melodic. And I love melody. I love melody and songs. I don't like songs that are all bluesy. Bluesy is a little bit non-melodic. It's not particularly melodic. And maybe that's why I have a bit of an aversion to blues, unless it's Led Zeppelin, Since I've Been Loving You. Holy fuck, that is a great song. My God, that's great. Anyway, I didn't think so. I didn't know it at the time, back in the late 70s, but later, man, when I got into it. But so Cheap Trick, I saw some concert footage, gig footage. They're not playing big venues. They're playing, they're playing county fairs, and they're playing, little music halls and all that sort of thing. And, Robin Zander's he's holding it together. He's all right. It's passable. It's all right. It's pretty good, I guess. But not Robin Zander, Rick Nielsen, my God, he's awful. He's terrible, man. Like, what the hell is wrong with that guy? Like, I think he might have dementia. That's what I was thinking. Like, because, his playing is like this. What's a song of Cheap Tricks that I know? I can't think of it. Jeez, am I in tune? But he would play them really roughly, like everything was sloppy. He would play it like this. That's how he'd play. And I'm thinking, and his leads were I think he's never been really a good guitarist. I realize that now. I don't think I realized that then. But he's very sloppy. I guess his, I'm not going to say claim to fame, but his strength was songwriting, which to me is way more important than guitar. I know, being a guitarist, you'd think that guitar is the important thing, right? That I would think that. And yes, it's very important. Every instrument is important. But songwriting is the epitome of importance to me. So maybe that's where Rick Nielsen excelled. And I always liked Robin Zander's voice a lot. I just liked Cheap Trick a lot. Like, beautiful, a lot of great songs, whether poppy or hard rock, or wherever they went on the ladder or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So anyway, all I got to say is Rick Nielsen. Damn, I don't know how they even have the nerve to play with that kind of guitar, and you could tell that kind of guitar playing. Oh my God. And I'm saying that as a huge Cheap Trick fan. Or a very big Cheap Trick fan. I'm not a Cheap Trick fan like I am an Ozzy and Black Sabbath fan, or a Kiss and Ace Frehley fan. No, I'm not on that level, but Cheap Trick were an important band for me too. And I really liked Cheap Trick. I maybe even you might say I loved them. So that's a bit disappointing. One guy said on Facebook, he said to me, yeah, Rick Nielsen, you're right. Rick Nielsen is horrible. It's terrible. But he said Tom Peterson, the bass player, was playing really horribly too when he's seen them in concert. I didn't notice that because Tom Peterson, the bass, the lower frequencies, they tend to get lost in the, when you hear an MP3 or when you hear a cell phone video, when you take a video on the cell phone, you're not hearing the lower frequencies, so you don't hear the bass fuck ups, right? You don't hear the schlangy or the messy bass playing or the wrong notes. Not as much. You can. I've heard some pretty clear, but so anyway, just watching that, I don't know if that's true. I can't say anything about Tom Peterson being bad. I don't know. But like I said, they're a band that's like, these bands are on their last legs, and you could hear it. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in aging and being weak. Although I really don't understand not being really tight in your musical approach. I don't understand playing like I've seen Rick Nielsen playing. I don't get that. I do understand the age, but if you're playing like that, is someone not going to say, God damn, you guys are playing so horribly, or this music sounds so bad that maybe you shouldn't play. Like, and then again, I'm thinking, well, they still want to continue their legacy. I know it's not a good legacy, but a lot of people don't realize they're playing like that. People can't hear that, man. They can't hear all that, and which is incredible to me. It's incredible. Maybe because I played guitar and I've been a musician so long, I'm not sure what it is, but or people don't want to hear it, or they like to use their imagination and not listen to reality. Instead, imagine the song as if it's coming off the album instead of what they're hearing in actuality. But yeah, that's disappointing and kind of flabbergasting, to use a term. But I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. Except maybe they're trying to make some extra money too in their old age. They're not ready to roll over and die, even if they are playing terribly, or some of the guys in the band. They still want to make their money and they still want to keep going. You want to keep living when you get older. I know I'm older, and you still look at girls. You still, all these things of youth. You still have those passions. They may be muted, or they may not be occurring as constantly or as intensely, but you still want to fucking live. So maybe I do understand that these people want to get out there and do that. I don't know. I'm not in their situation, so I can't judge that. But yeah, that's what I got to say about Cheap Trick. And then, is there anything with Van Halen? Well, I don't follow Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony. I'm just not into Chicken Shack. What is it? Chicken Shit? No, Chicken Shack. I see stuff online. I see the Hagar versus David Lee Roth debates and all that stuff. I'm just not interested in the Hagar era. It's just not my thing. I'm not saying, it's fine for what it is, if that's what you like. It's just not my thing. I could even say some pretty harsh, bad words about it. But right now I won't say anything. I'm just not a big fan of that. I really, totally prefer the David Lee Roth era. The first 6 albums, right? Even 1984, I found they were going down a bit. I know a lot of people think 1984 was a peak for Van Halen, but I don't think 1984 is the best Van Halen album by any means. I think they were going down at that point. There's some songs on there I just do not think it was top notch. And Eddie's guitar sound was changing, getting more watery, almost like there was a chorus or messy sound, whereas before that he had this really solid, thick, just a beautiful, pure sound. I'm not even sure what, I know they call it the brown sound. Anyway, so that's what I got to say about that. Alex Van Halen, yeah, he wrote the book. He wrote his book, and he didn't mention Sammy Hagar in there at all. And that's fine by me. I'm just not a Hagar fan. I'm not a Sammy Hagar fan, and I'm not a fan of Van Halen past 1984. And I love Roth. He's a nutball. Yeah, Roth is nuts. That's part of what makes you creative too, right? The nuttiness. Psycho. He's a bit crazy. I don't know what Roth is doing lately too. His performance is like, I'm going, wow, man. Like, what are you doing, Dave? Give me a break, Dave. Like one break coming up. I don't know. Is one break going to come up with that guy? Dave is loopy. I'm not sure if that's dementia either. Him and Rick Nielsen might have dementia. And a bunch of these guys, I'm not sure. I've probably got some dementia myself, and I'm a lot younger than them. I'm not a kid. I'm getting old too. But, I'm not the same either. So at their age, I could only imagine there's a deficit in thinking, in being, in behaving, in moving, in everything. But Roth, again, man, I love David Lee Roth. I love the nutball. He's a nut. And he's annoying as hell. I get that. He's very annoying, very interesting, and very irritating. He's got all those dimensions to him. But I love the David Lee Roth era, and I love what David Lee Roth brought to Van Halen. And I don't care for, geez, man, finish what you started. That was all right, but man, I'm giving a pass for something. And Pound Cake, I kind of like those, but no, it doesn't pass. Like, it's good to a degree, right? Like, right middling. It's like very middle of the road. It's not like, whoa. There's some nice ideas, nice thoughts in there, but I'm just not into it. It's the way I am. One day I'm going to give a review of Sammy and all that in his part in the band, and it might not be very flattering. And I'll be more direct with it, not so on the fence. So those are my thoughts on 2025. It was a reflective year, an emotional year, and a very sad year. We lost some of our heroes, our rock and roll heroes. We had a good time, we had a bad time, but not for a long time. And I'm very thankful for these guys, Ace and Ozzy. I've been giving them cheers all night so that the wine is just going down, and this from each cheer we were losing a little bit of intoxicants. Thank you, Ace. Thank you, Ozzy. And thank you, all of the bands that I mentioned, whatever they were. Thank you for listening. I'm going to reflect more on 2025 because I have more to say about that year. And I want to express that in somewhat clear detail and with some clarity. That may or may not happen, depending on my sobriety. But thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please subscribe or unsubscribe if you've not liked it. And like the video if you like it. Good night. Take care.